What's up? What's happening, beautiful people in the land of the interwebs? It is already a crazy start to this week here. I'm getting a bit of a late start to the week because it was Thanksgiving here in Canada, so this Tuesday is like my Monday. I've been trying to work off that turkey. I'm coming to and shit. You know, I feel like the Thanksgiving weekend is always like a blur whenever you're in it, and whenever you come out on the other side, it's like we're back to business. So we're back to business, motherfuckers, and we're here. We're queer. Better get used to it. Some crazy stories going on today. So we're going to open up talking about Jake E. Lee, of course, the former guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, who was shot multiple times in Las Vegas. I have all the details about the story coming up soon. We're also going to talk about the Sick New World lineup, of course, featuring Metallica and the brand new Linkin Park headlining the bill, and the return of a very, very special band that has been long awaited, that sort of has a cult following. We're going to break all those details down here in just a minute. But until then, make sure to like the stream so we can get this off to a good start. And let's run this up right now. So, Jake E. Lee, of course, the former guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, was the victim of what I could only call a freak attack today. I mean, this is such a sad and tragic story. And we're going to read here from TMZ. So, obviously, Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Jake E. Lee, who played with him through the 80s. He played on songs like Bark at the Moon. You know, this guy was definitely incredibly gifted, and I would say a big part of Ozzy's solo band. TMZ reports that he's been hospitalized and is currently in the ICU, as we're reading here, after a shooting in Las Vegas. Reps for the musician tell TMZ that Jakey was shot multiple times early Tuesday morning while taking his dog out for a walk in Las Vegas. Jake E. Lee is currently in the ICU. He is fully conscious, as per TMZ's report, and reportedly doing quite well for a person who was shot multiple times. Like, I see in this report they say he's doing well. I can only imagine, like, you can only do so well after being shot. So, I mean, I think it's incredible that he's in stable condition, and the guy's conscious, he's come to, and he's really, other than being shot, he's going to make it sounds like, which is like a stroke of, miracle. I feel like a lot of people out there, and I think most of my audience probably does have an understanding about this, but a lot of people out there maybe underestimate like how easily one bullet can kill you. And I know that, again, a lot of people understand it. There's many people, especially in my audience, who are, they know their shit when it comes to guns. But I don't think a lot of people out there realize, like, it just takes one bullet, and it doesn't have to shoot you in the head. It doesn't have to be a point-blank shot. It's not hard to get killed by a bullet, okay? Again, I know it may sound obvious to people who know their stuff, but this is the real deal, okay? This isn't like Tupac being shot 8 times and surviving. Those are very rare scenarios. So this is incredibly serious, and Jake E. Lee is lucky to be alive. Now, authorities investigating the case do not currently believe that Jake was targeted in this attack. They believe the incident, which happened around 2:40 a.m., was completely random. So 2:40 a.m. is when this happened. So this was sort of being framed as a morning thing, in the sense that he was out there in the morning, like 6 or 7 a.m. walking his dog. That's at least what I had in my mind. But when we're saying morning, we're thinking 2:40 in the morning in Las Vegas. So even that little detail does put a little bit more context to this and kind of makes it make a little more sense. Again, it never makes sense to shoot somebody randomly, but if you're gonna be shot randomly, I would be more surprised at it happening at 7 in the morning than at 2:40 in the morning. So ultimately, this sort of puts a little bit of context, but nonetheless, you should be able to walk your dog at any time of day, any time of night, and feel safe out there. So this is obviously very sad. Now, Ozzy Osbourne, of course, the Prince of Darkness himself, has responded and put out a statement talking about Jake E. Lee. So let's take a look at Ozzy Osbourne's social media to see what he has to say about this former guitarist being attacked and shot. It's really nice to see Ozzy speaking on this, by the way. I do know that things may have been a little tumultuous when Jake E. left the Ozzy band. I'm working on a video right now, actually, speaking about some of these topics. So it's interesting that this happens now. But again, it's good to see Ozzy extending a hand for his old friend and really being there for him. So Ozzy Osbourne has released a statement to TMZ in which he says, "It's been 37 years since I've seen Jake E. Lee, but that still doesn't take away from the shock of hearing what happened to him today. It's just another senseless act of gun violence. I send my thoughts to him and his beautiful daughter, Jade. I just hope he'll be okay." Hey, man, listen, perfect quote from Ozzy Osbourne. It's like, look, I don't know what people expect a man to say when one of his former bandmates has been shot, but what can you say? You know, Ozzy is not the guy who's going to make up a big elaborate answer just for the sake of it. We got to remember, Ozzy is from the UK. Ozzy is from Birmingham, okay? So this is a dude who's just going to tell it to you straight, and he's going to tell it like it is. And this is telling it like it is. He's not pretending he's the closest friends with Jake E. Lee right now. He's openly saying, we don't even have a relationship, but I still care about this guy. I care about his family, and I hope he's okay. Absolute class act from Ozzy Osbourne here today. For anybody who's just joining, Ozzy Osbourne's former guitar player, Jake E. Lee, was shot multiple times in a random freak attack while walking his dog in Las Vegas. That's for anybody just joining the chat. Shout out to Chad Reeser in the chat. Shout out to Robin. Shout out to Youth Among Us. TFT in the building. We got Phil. All my people, man. All my people. And we're in here saying a little prayer for Jake E. Lee. We got our Joey Diaz shirt. What the fuck, dog? Who the fuck runs around shooting 6:30 in the morning, cocksucker? Oh my God, man. I have a funny story, by the way. So I was wearing this shirt in New York City a couple months ago now, I guess, when I was last there. And for anybody who has never seen this shirt, the bottom of the shirt says, "If you ain't high by 2 in the afternoon, go fuck yourself." Super classy shirt, super classy. But the thing is, when I bought this shirt, it was like 10 years ago. So things have changed in society, okay? 10 years ago, you could buy a shirt like this and people would just get a kick out of it and be like, boy, that's wacky. Nowadays, people are like clutching their pearls and they're genuinely offended, right? So I'm wearing this shirt. This is 10 years later. I'm in New York City, and I was kind of self-conscious about wearing the shirt that says "Go fuck yourself" in bold letters. But I was like, bro, this is New York City, okay? I was like, this is the roughest, toughest place in the world. Nobody gives a fuck. And I was like, this is probably the least shocking thing anybody in New York City has seen today. I was like, we're going to wear the shirt. So I'm walking around the city, right? I'm walking around. And I go inside the Nautica store, the Nautica. And as I walk in the store, I say hello to the guy who's standing at the door, and I figure he's going to say hello back. This dude's eyes dart down to my t-shirt instantly, and his face just gets flushed. And the guy goes, "Oh, wow, that is quite a strong shirt." And I was just kind of laughing. I thought he was just joking. I was like, yeah, it's, you know. But he was serious. And this dude's looking at me, and this dude is almost looking at me like, should I let him in the store? Should I even let this dude in the store? So I was like, fuck, this is bad. I was like, this is bad. So I literally went, I threw on a black t-shirt. I was like, fuck this. I don't need this type of heat in my life. Joey, I love you, but I don't need this type. I got enough problems. You understand me? So that was my little New York story. But shout out Joey Diaz. Always keeping it entertaining, keeping it controversial. So, I don't know. I mean, what can one really say about this story other than what we've said? Jake E. Lee is going to be okay. Thank God he's going to be okay. This is bullshit. I mean, I would be so furious just at the fact that this happened to me if somebody randomly shot me. I'd be furious if somebody shot me on purpose. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I would definitely be angry no matter what if this happened. But if I was just walking around minding my business, walking my dog, and I got fucking shot, I would be furious. Like, what type of shit is this? And look, I can't imagine Jake E. Lee lives in, you know, like the Skid Row of Vegas here. I mean, I would imagine Jake E. Lee is a man of some means. Again, I'm doing a video breaking down the financial situations of Ozzy's band and stuff like that, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Maybe we will find out that Jake E. Lee lives in a bad area. You know, I don't know. I really didn't see this happening uh, to somebody in his position. So but again, it's random, right? It's random. And the people who did it probably had no idea who he was. And again, it would have been just as bad if it was a random person. But this whole thing is just shocking, and definitely sending love to Jake E. Lee, who was shot and is currently in the ICU. Make sure to hit the like button, guys. 1 like equals 1 good thought to Jake E. Lee. I gotta start liking my own video. Like, just to send them good thoughts. Somebody said, I thought the video said that Ozzy Osbourne was shot multiple times. No, guys, Ozzy Osbourne has not been shot, thank God. He would probably survive it, though, anyway. This motherfucker, you can't kill this guy, okay? Like I say, we need to start figuring out what kind of world we are going to leave behind, my generation, for Ozzy Osbourne and Keith Richards. This is really what's at the top of my mind. Like, we need to make sure that we are leaving a good world behind for these two, because these motherfuckers are not going anywhere. So shout out Ozzy, shout out Keith, and shout out Jake E. Lee. And it was a beautiful thing to see that Ozzy reached out to his former player. It was a beautiful thing. That's right. Hit like, hit subscribe. Shout out to Youth Among Us. Shout out to my boy Leo. New York City is in the house. You know how we do it, dog. And we're feeling good. We're feeling beautiful today. So, speaking of Las Vegas, this is funny because this is actually 2 Las Vegas stories in one broadcast, but we're going to put it on anyway. Sick New World, the music festival that's, I think, has been going on for a couple of years. If somebody could maybe help me fact check and look into how long this has been going, we could definitely talk about that. But Sick New World is I think a festival on the newer side. Let's just look it up now, because I like to know what the fuck I'm talking about. One thing about me, I like to know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, when was Sick New World founded? I think it was, the last couple of years. So, they have announced the lineup for this show, which is coming up in Las Vegas on August 12th, 2025. And oh my goodness, man, the absolute magnitude of this lineup is just hard to wrap my mind around. We got Metallica headlining, of course, who is on a crazy run right now. We have Linkin Park, of course, back with their brand new singer, who is also on a crazy run. They're going to be the other main headliner. As we can see, Queens of the Stone Age will be there. AFI. Oh my God, AFI. Are you kidding me or what? Guys, now we're taking it back. Okay, if you want to talk about music that I grew up on, and I know my generation did, right? This is not a scenario that's unique to me. But if we're talking about music that I grew up on and my generation grew up on, AFI was the real deal. I think it was December Underground. I'm looking it up now. December Underground. If you motherfuckers listen to this album with the rabbits and shit, you guys are the real fucking deal if you listen to this album, okay? This was my introduction to sort of screaming type music, my introduction to modern day pop type of stuff, or punk rather. But yeah, man, basically this is going to be an incredible festival, Evanescence. But one of the main things that has surprised people about this lineup is the fact that Acid Bath is now reuniting as a band and performing at the Sick New World Festival. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Acid Bath, that is of course the group featuring lead singer and guitarist Dax Riggs, and this is their first time reuniting, guys, in 28 years, okay? This band has been completely inactive for 28 years. Dax Riggs, of course, has done his own thing, but as far as Acid Bath, it has not existed for that amount of time. And these guys are now coming back, hailing out of Louisiana, coming all the way to Las Vegas to reunite live on stage. And the reaction from fans, man, has been absolutely insane. So this is a really, really cool thing, because not only do we have Acid Bath reuniting with one new member, but of course we have Linkin Park as well reuniting with one new member. So it's like a very cool, I guess 2 new members now. So it's a very cool sort of dynamic having this new slash old. It's like a renaissance of punk and rock with Linkin Park and Acid Bath, but then having some of the classic staples as well who've always been around. Metallica, as big as McDonald's. I was out today, I saw 4 Metallica shirts just walking around in public. I was like, these guys, it's the biggest band in the world. I would be willing to say that Metallica in 2024, 2025 is the biggest band on the planet. I honestly can't name another band that is as successful and is as, or that's as commercially huge as Metallica. I mean, it's insane. When I went to see their concert a couple of months ago, I knew it was going to be full. But the one thing I did not expect was it to be full of people my age. Okay, I'm 25 years old. I happen to love Metallica. But I didn't expect to be surrounded by other 25-year-olds. I thought I'd be surrounded by a bunch of 50-year-olds. And again, 50-year-olds are amazing. Shout out to all my 50-year-olds. You guys have better taste than most of my generation. But I was taken aback by that because when you go see some of these bands who have been around for a long time, Iron Maiden, Kiss when they were still active. I'm still so sad. No more Kiss. All these different bands, AC/DC, right? What you see is you see a lot of different generations, but you mostly see the older generation with little kids. So you'll see like a father and son who's like 6 or 7 years old, and the dad is like in his 50s. And then usually my demographic was lower. But the demographic of young people like who were under 30, who were at Metallica, was huge when I saw them this last time. And it really made an impact on me as to how relevant they really are. So, look, Metallica is not my favorite band in the world by any stretch. But you got to give credit where it's due, and you got to give their flowers. They are bigger than life, and they're fucking killing it, man. They've been killing it for 35, 40 years, so shout out to Metallica. Who else is on the lineup? Queens of the Stone Age. Guys, should I go to this or what? I'm wondering if I should go to this because I've covered a lot of festivals this year, and this would be a crazy festival. I would just have to get the camera crew to fly out, but I have my ways. You know what I mean? I have my ways. I can be very convincing when I want to be. So maybe I get the camera crew to fly out from Canada. I fly out from Canada. We put everybody up in Vegas, and we go do the gig. I'm starting to think that might be the answer here. Who else is on the lineup? It is... Looking for that 2025 full lineup, baby. Gojira's on the lineup. Ministry. 3 Days Grace, which is crazy. That's a Canadian band, 3 Days Grace. And they just had their new singer back. Queens of the Stone Age sounds worthwhile alone. Robin, that's actually a band who's been on my bucket list for concerts forever. And somehow I've managed to see like every band live except for Queens of the Stone Age. So yeah, that definitely would be super, super cool. So yeah, man, let's figure it out. We'll figure it out. I might go down to Sick New World. I may have to reach out to them and get some coverage at the festival. Can get a lot of great interviews. A lot of artists I've already interviewed are going to be on the lineup, but also a lot of artists I have not interviewed. And like I say, Queens of the Stone Age is one of them. That's a band who I should have seen by now. I've seen everybody. Queens of the Stone Age, it just has never worked out. Used to see rumors, or I used Lammers. What's Lammers? You used Lammers to see Metallica in Brooklyn when the band was teens. I don't know what Lammers is, but that's cool that you saw Metallica when they were teenagers, dude. In Brooklyn? Where's Metallica from? They're from the Bay, right? Bay Area? Where's Metallica from? I think it was San Francisco, wasn't it? Oh yeah, they're from LA? Okay. I think they were from the Bay Area. As long as the singer doesn't kick me, I'd go. Hey man, there's certain artists, like if the artist doesn't attack you or assault you, it's like you're not even getting your money's worth, bro. Like there's certain artists, I swear, if Josh Homme kicked me, I would be fucking thrilled, man. Not actually, but it reminds me of this story, and I've told this story before on an audio broadcast, but I'll tell it again anyway. It reminds me of when I photographed Marilyn Manson. So I was in the photo pit. There was about 5 other photographers. And Marilyn Manson's handler came over and gave us a briefing. And he told us what to look out for. And he told us what to look out for when it comes to Marilyn Manson. And he looked us right in the face. And he said, when you're taking pictures of Manson, you're going to want to keep your distance a little more than normal because he spits. And I kind of like laughed because I was like, like, that's funny. Like, was he like a wild animal? And this dude was looking at me deadpan in the face after I let out that little laugh. And he's like, bro, I'm not joking. This dude was dead ass serious. He's like, Marilyn Manson will spit on you. And a couple months later, Marilyn Manson was actually sued for spitting on a photographer. You cannot make this stuff up. You can go find the lawsuit. He was sued a couple of months later, and it was 100% accurate. So, I don't know, man. That shit was insane. Some of these guys, it's... You know, I find some of these guys, they kind of pretend to be off the rails, and then some of these guys are actually just crazy. You know, you look at like a guy like Gene Simmons, for example. I think is a perfect example of being in the crazy persona. You know, he would go on stage, he's spitting blood, he's acting like an animal, he's breathing fire, and then he comes off stage and he's sitting in his room eating ice cream. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't do anything. And he's very much normal. Okay, Gene Simmons, when you take all the career stuff away and you look at just everyday activities, a guy like Gene Simmons, incredibly normal guy. Just sort of like your cool, wacky uncle just chilling. You know, a guy like Marilyn Manson, literally just out of control. Like, just the fact that a guy like Marilyn Manson has even managed to have a career for as long as he has is wild to me. And yeah, like we're seeing in the chat, Ozzy eating bats. Like, some of these people, it's not an act. It's not an act at all. This is the real deal. And that's what fascinates me. But a bit of a tangent there. At the end of the day, I'm excited to see this lineup. And I'm excited to see this event. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Damn, I'm getting some sort of attack here. So, what else is going on in the world of hip-hop? I wanted to look at the world of hip-hop. So we're looking at this one here. This says, an 11th accuser of Sean Diddy Combs has now stepped up to target Diddy as he sits in jail. This is here being reported by the BBC. Sean Diddy Combs is currently in federal custody awaiting trial on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. His arrest in New York came amid a series of civil suits alleging sexual assault and physical violence, some going back to the 1990s. The Harlem-born rapper has denied any wrongdoing. However, more accusations have now surfaced against Diddy, as we read here from the BBC. I wish I had a pic. Let me just get like a picture of Diddy or something. Is that a thing? Can I get a picture of Diddy to put? Or are we just gonna not have one? Here, 1 second. I know I should have a picture of Diddy somewhere on my phone. Actually, that's probably more concerning than not having one. Actually, that's not something I should be telling people. I have pictures of Diddy in my phone. Hey, as long as he doesn't have pictures of me, I'm good. I can have a picture of Diddy. I don't want Diddy having a picture of me. That's when we're in some serious trouble. So let's read. Here are just a couple of the newest lawsuits that have come out about Diddy right now. I know, this is... See? If I have a picture, it's going to be a good picture. Joey Diaz was supplying Diddy parties with drugs. He'd probably be pretty rich if he was doing that. I'd want to fact check that one, though. So, here are the 10 new accusations. Number 1, Joy Dickerson Neal has said that Cassie Ventura, of course Diddy's ex, inspired her, or I guess ex, like slave, I don't know if you could even call her an ex, inspired her to speak out. She alleges that Combs had intentionally drugged and SA'd her when she was at Syracuse University in 1991 and made her a victim of revenge porn by filming the assault and showing it to others. Representatives for Diddy blasted the lawsuit as, quote, purely a money grab and have asked for it to be dismissed. On the other hand, Talia Graves, well, we went into this one, but Talia Graves made a new suit. We'll go into the new ones because we've streamed about this already. Dawn Richards, who once sang in two Combs-assembled groups, including Danity and Kane, said she personally had witnessed his violence against Cassie Ventura and that he had threatened her life when she tried to intervene. Adira English, a former adult film actress who worked with Combs in the 2000s, said that he used her as a, quote, sexual pawn for the pleasure and financial benefits of others. For the financial benefits. I'd be interested to hear how that works during the white parties he hosted at his homes in New York and Miami. These are just some of the new claims, guys, that are going on against Diddy. Now, we have to remember, these are 2 or 3 of them, but Diddy is facing over 100 different claims, okay, about what he's done. And at the end of the day, we're just going to keep covering it, guys. There's going to be so much more to cover. As Kyle says, the diddler has been diddling for too long, and absolutely, I completely agree. He has to be stopped. He's currently sitting in jail as we speak, and let's see some of the other latest information. So this latest suit was really concerning because he is accused of molesting a teenage boy in this lawsuit here. So the accuser in this suit, I don't even know if they're naming him because I don't know how that works with the laws. He says he was 16 years old at the time of the 1998 party where Diddy allegedly asked him to remove his pants and proceeded to touch the victim inappropriately. This is reported by the Washington Post. Combs allegedly told the teenager such conduct was a rite of passage for anyone attempting to break into the music industry. The man, identified as only John Doe, so they're not identifying him, said he complied out of fear and hoped that Diddy would help him secure a successful future. The second allegation comes from a man who said he was hired as security for the same event in for a different event in 2006. The anonymous accuser alleged he was served a drink laced with narcotics. So this is a security guard. So Diddy fucking dissed a security guard. Hang on a second. Oh, Kyle, you think it was Justin Bieber? The math doesn't work, but I wonder if Justin Bieber will be speaking in this. I don't think so at all. I think if Justin Bieber was going to speak, he would have spoken by now. But god damn it, I hope Justin Bieber's okay. I just hope that dude has found some sort of peace from what happened to him. And I pray to God he could move on, because what happened to that kid was criminal. What happened to Justin Bieber when he was a kid, I think some people need to go to jail for that. I genuinely do. I think some people need to be jailed for what happened to Justin Bieber, because it's insane. And this is a kid who comes from where I come from, okay? I know what it's like to be a small town kid from Canada. I know what that feeling is when you want to break into the business and the American dudes are trying to help you and it's exciting. I know what that's like, bro. And god damn it, it just hits different. It just hits different when you know what that's like. Justin will struggle forever. He probably will. The diddler is my worst nightmare. That's what Leo sees when he goes to sleep. That's what we all see. Waking up sweating, crying. Wholeheartedly agree. So This accusation, we're just going to go through it again from the security guard. He says in 2006, he was served a drink laced with narcotics while working security at a Diddy party, okay? So even the security, somebody needed to secure the security, okay? Nobody was safe, not even the safety team. The accuser said that he was extremely ill, and the last thing he remembers is Diddy, this is a quote, by the way, raping him in an open van. Wow. Wow, man. So this dude was literally like, and this is the thing, the web of Diddy goes so far because there's people involved in this who didn't even expect to be involved. Like when we talk about innocent victims, this is the definition of innocent victims. Because these people, like this dude was working. This guy was literally at work. Assuming this is true, we're going to find out, right? But allegedly, this guy was at work and he was raped by P. Diddy. Like, who the fuck? Like, what? Again, it's one thing, and again, this is where it starts getting controversial. But I will say this: there's a big difference between a situation like that and somebody going somewhere they know they shouldn't be. Okay, there's a big difference. Like you hear some of these stories, it's like, oh, Harvey Weinstein told me to come up to his room and I didn't think it was normal, but I did it anyway. And then he ripped his pants off and I stayed anyway. You hear those stories, that's one thing. And it's still wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't even twist what I'm saying. But that's a little different than somebody who's literally not putting themselves in any harm's way, not putting themselves in any bad situation, not ignoring their best judgment, and they're still being assaulted, okay? It's wrong all across the board. But when you see it at this scale, innocent bystanders who are there, not even to party. Well, first of all, why are you drinking if you're a security guard? That's the one thing I'll say. If you're working security, why are you drinking? That is maybe, okay, maybe there's, again, everybody has responsibility in this world for their own actions. But nobody is responsible for being victimized in these ways. Absolutely not, okay? And it's a terrible, terrible thing. So, I mean, the scale of this is just mind-boggling to me. And again, it always hits different because we have to remember, these guys don't actually have to do this to be satisfied. Okay? A guy like P. Diddy, in P. Diddy's position with P. Diddy kind of money, P. Diddy doesn't have to rape anybody. Okay, P. Diddy could be having consensual sex unlimited times throughout the day. Like, this dude literally could be having consenting relations with his money and his success and his fame. This dude could be having all the consent he wants. He would never have to force himself on anybody. But what does he do? He does it anyway. And why does he do it? Because he's a sick motherfucker. That is the piece. That's the piece, to me, that's insane. This isn't a dude who couldn't be touched by a woman, or a man, I guess, if he's into men, if he wanted to be, consensually. This isn't like he was, and again, it's never right. But this isn't a dude who was in school, who was never touched by a woman, and he lashes out and he feels like he has to force himself. This is a guy who could have whatever he wanted with consent. And he still chose to do it without. That, to me, is the part that is sickening about this to the highest degree, because he chose evil because he liked it. He chose evil because it felt good to him. It was satisfying to him to assault these poor people, to drug these poor people, to have these people confused, putting people on planes, kidnapping people, locking women in rooms after he beat them black and blue. This is a person who thrived off of evil. And I want to be very clear. There's never an excuse. Even if he was an outcast of society, there's no such thing as an excuse. But it just puts it into perspective how sick he is, because he didn't even have to do it. He didn't have to do anything. It's like stealing from the grocery store when you're a multimillionaire. It's like, oh, you're just a thief then. You just felt like stealing because you like to steal. You're not even hungry. You're not even broke. You're just stealing to steal. I mean, what kind of piece of shit is stealing to steal? It's a fucking outrage. What up, Meta? Shout out Metaphoria. I'm on a tangent again, but I'm pissed because I look at it, it's the same thing as Bill Cosby. It's the same thing as Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby could have been getting laid every second, every day, every time. And I just don't understand. But I guess you have to understand it, and we have to wrap our mind around it because it is a sad fact that evil is real. Evil is real, and I hate to be the guy coming on screaming about evil. I feel like Mermaid Man, evil, you know. You sound like, you know, you're running around like a chicken with your head off. Maybe so, but am I wrong, though? That's always the question it comes back to, right? It may sound this way, it may sound that way, it may sound X, X, and X, but is it inaccurate? That's really what I want you to... Is it inaccurate? No. That's the fucked up part, man. That's the fucked up part. When it sounds crazy, but it's true. That's where we're at right now, and that's why this youth, it hurts my brain too. It hurts my brain because we've been conditioned to kind of feel like this stuff isn't real. That's the thing. We've been told about all this stuff, and people put names on it to make it sound less legitimate. You know, when you say there's a problem with Hollywood, that's a conversation we can have. But when we take it and we put labels on it, we call it the Illuminati. Instantly, you lose all credibility. When you put labels like Illuminati, when you put all these stupid labels and these stupid videos and all these conspiracies, that's when it starts to get ridiculous. But that's what is done to make it... that is what is done to distract from the reality of it. And that is why now we're in a whole different world now, because all these crazy labels, conspiracy, Illuminati, blah, 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 which are terrible terms, are all removed, and now it's just facts. So it's like, that's the creepy part to me, guys. That's the creepy part. We can't do these gymnastics of trying to make things seem like they aren't real when there's this level of evidence, okay? Yeah. This is a trip, dude. And especially with what happened with Piers Morgan the other day, when Jay-Z made him legally apologize to Beyonce and him. He legally made Piers apologize and take down the interview with Jaguar Wright where they exposed Beyonce and Jay-Z. I could not believe that. Okay, like I've seen some crazy stuff in the last couple of years. I could not believe that Jay-Z was able to do that. Because this is a guy with a lot of power. This is a guy with a lot of power. And him and Beyonce, bro. Ooh, boy. Him and Beyonce are going down. Okay? We all love Beyonce. She's a hot little piece of ass. She sings a couple good songs. But I don't give a fuck anymore. Okay? That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough. We know what they did to Aaliyah. We know they drugged that poor girl. We know what Jay-Z did to Foxy Brown, dating her when she was 15, 16 years old. We know they were friends with R. Kelly. We know they were friends with Diddy. Let's cut the shit, man. Cut the shit. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care how good your music is. I don't care how good of an actor you are anymore. It is over, bro. You will pay if you do this shit. I don't give a fuck who it is. If it's Paul McCartney, put him under the fucking jail. If it's Beyonce, bury that bitch too. I'm sick and tired of all these motherfuckers. Because they get away with it because they sing a cute little ditty. Ah, the single ladies. Ah, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Okay? And this is where it ends. It ends here and now. Cat Williams told us about 2024. But 2025 we're going to look at everybody different. Everybody. We've stumbled over some weird shit. Somebody didn't cover their tracks. Somebody made another guy mad behind the scenes. Like, stuff is happening right now that is so much deeper than I understand or than we understand. It's incredible. I'm just here to watch the show, and I feel like, again, as this goes, we're going to learn more, and we're going to be able to put all this into perspective. But right now, folks, I highly encourage you to just sit back with your popcorn and take it all in, because we are about to find out some things that are going to fucking shock us. Let me tell you what, boy. The Diddy trial in 2025, I'm probably going to break 1 million followers. This shit right here, I'm probably going to have, listen, we're going to have, you think this is a good stream? We are going to have some of the wildest motherfucking streams you've ever seen. The Diddy Files 2025. Make sure you're subscribed to Cassius Morris Official for all the updates on this slimy little fuck rat. Look at this guy. Look at him. Makes me sick. I can't even look at it. Can't even look at him no more. Him and Epstein is the same person. So that's it, and that's that. When does the Diddy trial start? May 2025. So yeah, we're gonna be gearing up for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thank you, Meta. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Youth Among Us. You guys are bad motherfuckers, man. It's great to have you in here. It's always great to talk some shit with you guys. I'm getting my feet on the ground with the new schedule. My schedule's been fucked, but all of our schedules are fucked. So that's why I don't bore you with the details. But just know we're getting to it. We're getting back on our feet when it comes to stability with the schedule, with the streams, with the interviews. And again, my job is to entertain you. My job is not to burden you. So if I'm trying to figure shit out, I just figure it out and then I come back. I'm not going to sit here and cry and I didn't have time yesterday and I was trying to get home. Nobody gives a fuck, okay? That's the one thing I want you to know. 1 or 2 people who care about you give a fuck. The rest of the world doesn't care at all about anything you're going through. That includes me. That includes you. I'm not going to bore you with the gory details, but what I will do is come back to entertain you. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Hit the subscribe. Double tap that screen. Double tap. If you're on Facebook, hit the like. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching this recording about J.K. Lee, Sick New World, and P. Diddy. Love.